Hey y'all, Beardy Bros Golf Show, back at it again. I am Rod,
And I'm Marcus.
coming on a little bit late today and out of our usual Monday slot. Mark is doing some traveling tomorrow, so wanted to get the show in and trying to avoid what we just saw, a weird NBA All Star game. Like, just
Terrible
I don't
product.
know, man. It's so bad. Again, I don't usually watch sporting events with the sound on, so I've just been looking at it and a lot of
Hmm.
filler going on, a lot of in between. I didn't necessarily hate the format with the going to 40. I appreciated
Yeah,
that. I thought they would play a little bit harder given that it was just to that target number. Still the same kind of sloppy all star play that we've been used to seeing. But in between the games and in between, uh, even certain parts of the last session was still weird. What do you think about this
yeah,
weird all star weekend? Bad
yeah,
dunk contest.
yeah. Again, I mean, as I was telling you, they lost me a long time ago. I mean, unfortunately, they've been trying to chase the glamour of Zach Levine versus Aaron Gordon on Saturday night. Since then, I mean, just no stars want to participate. No, like uber athletic people want to participate anymore. So we're we're literally getting the consolation of Mac McClung. That's what we've been having to deal with
the, it's so bad that Mac McClung can win 3 times in a row,
three
still
times
in
in
the
a
G
row
League, right?
in the G League, bruh. In the Magic G League affiliate team, bro. What's crazy is it's so bad that now the dunkers of the NBA now are sending shots and sending sub tweets and stuff like that. And John Morant kicked it off. He's like, maybe I will do the dunk contest. Giannis talking about, I'll do it
Please.
if you do it. And then Zach,
Yeah, I saw that.
and then Zach saying, well, I guess I might have to get back in it too. Well, I mean, don't talk about it, be about it. Braun talked about it for 5 straight
Yeah,
seasons and didn't do it. Come on now, bro.
Zach's Zach can't stay healthy enough to do it again. But
I
I
agree.
caught the little playback on TikTok from Bleacher Report showing that match between Zach Levine when he repeated against Aaron Gordon, and it could have easily been called a tie. It was so good.
Right.
The
Actual
creativity was
cinema.
still there. Yeah, the explosiveness that Gordon still had at that time, kind of nuts, right? And
Right.
the finishes. That's what I noticed about his. The finishes were so clean. Zach's were a little bit, the
Easy.
execution was still there. He's making the dunks, but Gordon's finishes were so dang clean. It was ridiculous. I think he was robbed that year, but anyway, that we've just haven't seen that in so long. That was what, 16? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
16?
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's been fading very hard since then. We have to get some guys in their prime to step up, jump in that thing, and have a decent All Star game. Skills challenges kind of ho hum, even with as many threes as we see shot in the modern game today. Even a 3 point contest was pretty bad.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of makes. It wasn't really even close when it came down to it. People in the teens, I mean, with all these different bonus balls that they have thrown out there, for people to still be in the teens seems pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm old. I miss the days of even just Steph Curry not too long ago. You know, shoot, Craig Hodges back in the day. That's really old school for you guys.
Right.
But yeah, we've lost the shooters. The true shooters of the game are not there anymore, even though we're shooting more threes than we ever have.
As the folks say, we are losing recipes, bro. Jeez Louise,
Heavily.
man.
So that's that's my rant. We'll get the All Star stuff out of the way. Um, Bad All Star weekend, bad. So NBA's got to figure some stuff out. Um, it's
Yep.
lost me. It's lost me. So I can't wait. I can't wait to
Hmm.
the playoffs. Let's get into this golf, man. Ludvig Aberg takes the Genesis Open. Uh, Unfortunately, not played in Riviera this year due to the LA wildfires. Just a um, factor of life and current day climate change and things happening out of the norm. So heavy fires in the LA area, infrastructure just not in place to be able to host a tournament. So they moved it over to Torrey Pine South. Course presented amazingly well. Something I was noticing, kind of flipping back and forth between the CBS coverage and also earlier in the day when I was watching via ESPN Plus, looks really good. I don't know what's different this week, but the like the clarity of the cameras seem to be really good this year. High product, high value product. Looked really good, presented well. Tory is an amazing course. You saw a little more. I think they were doing a good job of showing the green complexes and going into the green complexes. I think when they play Tory in other situations, it's easy for them to get locked in to those kind of overhead shots. And
Yeah.
it kind of looks like Tory's not that dynamic of a course. But this week, the way they presented it, you could tell a lot of the nuances of the course kind of going into some of those greens, some of the cant in the fairways. You could tell that was a little more noticeable than when they play the Farmers. So, what'd you think of this week?
Oh yeah, it was good. I mean, same sentiments. Again, I think I brought it up when the farmers happened. You know, it was just a lot of moving parts, and I felt like them having to cover the north and the south until Sunday. Then of course the APPGA and stuff like that was out there, so not as they weren't as able to get as focused on just that one course and the limited field that we had this week, but overall, felt like the course fought back. The rough was up. They had been growing it out since the farmers
Yep.
insurance. So just to get it to play a little bit differently, they still got into the double digits, barely, but they did. Um, Sunday was a great testament to the players playing. I felt like everybody showed up besides Rory. Unfortunately, our guy could not get the flat stick going at
Shot,
all. Just
shot even, right?
even par in 74, 2 over yesterday on the weekend when it mattered most. Now, Scotty had a shot of 76 and went 4 over, but came back and shot 10 shots difference today. So he at least, rebounded and played along Rory. And you would think that Scotty and Rory, both being TaylorMade guys and actually, pretty cordial, they could be kind of like a friendly rivalry, carry each other along.
Right.
But uh Scotty just left him where he stood.
Yeah.
Um, Pretty crazy. But let's talk about the coverage. The
Yeah.
coverage was insane. I mean, you want to talk about them getting a kick in the rear from whatever may have happened. I felt like either the TV shots were right on players coming into their action shot, or it just so happened that they might have got threatened. I don't know. Maybe the TV coverage was what happened, but it looked like we were going from shot to shot. We still got a nice amount of jibber jabber from the guys from Jim Nance and Trevor Immelman. I'm sorry. Um,
No,
but
you're good.
yeah, I felt like it was a really good product today. I felt like it was, it went by fast. Felt like we didn't really like linger around. We didn't go over the TV coverage. I mean, it was about a
It
four
was pretty
forty
quick.
five. Yeah, 4:45 on the
I was
pace or
I
whatever.
was I had it on the entire time, but from when they went on to when I turned to CBS and turned off the ESPN stuff to from like hole to 6 to 16, I was like, we got here pretty dang fast. It
Really
was
quick.
really moving along.
Yeah,
And, I know, in the last group, McCarthy, probably one of the more deliberate players on the tour, probably would, he didn't really compete today. He continued to fade to the back. But
yeah.
had we probably had a little bit more of him, it may not have felt as smooth. But seeing some of the more quick players, I agree with what you were saying wholeheartedly. Tom Kim's still slow. He was in the early window on ESPN Plus, and he's
Yeah.
still Tom Kim. So somebody needs
Hey,
to get in his ear and get with the
really.
program.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick Cantley though, even he's kicked it up a little bit on his TV coverage. Um, I
Yeah,
felt like, I mean, you just, bro, you can't play as fast as Ludvig Aberg plays. Dude, I mean, it's like
he's a machine.
11 to 13 seconds on everything. It like no time at all. Gets a number, goes his routine and things like that. But I want to say also, if you look at Ludvig Aber compared to Danny McCarthy, this is the reason why, randomly enough, why Rory McIlroy rebuilt his swing a little bit over in the offseason before he went over to the DP World Tour. Because again, when
Mm-hmm.
it matters the most, when the pressure is on, when you need to go and make a swing and put yourself in play or put yourself in a moment to where you can score and take a lead or gain on the leaderboard and stuff like that, you don't want your swing to be able to break down. Danny McCarthy, swing, break down. Ludvig Aber, swing never failed him, not once today.
Yeah,
He played amazing golf. He made putts that were makeable. He made a few mid-distance ones. He got lucky on them. I mean, not lucky, not lucky, but the
fortunate.
ones
Yeah,
that
put him.
you're
Yeah,
right, the ones that you're not banking on making, but kind of just like lagging up there, making sure I have a par in hand. He made a few of those. That is what, that's why those guys do the work and make repeatable swings, make sure that their swing is repeatable. So shout out to Ludvig Alver because his swing is very repeatable.
yeah.
It is very hard for him to get stuck or get, in a bad, pretty much
It's like his
unless it
position. It's he keeps it. He keeps the club in front of him. I don't know how to explain it, but
yeah,
it's like sometimes like Rory, the previous swing mechanics, he would get his arms a little bit behind him, and so coming through, he would hit quite a few blocks, especially with the wedges. You just
yep,
don't see that with Ibear's swing. It seems like I said, as easily as you can. It's hard to explain it, but it's like he keeps the arms in front of him at all times, and then
yeah,
just pulls through. It's so repeatable, so
very,
repeatable, and you don't want to
very
say it's boring because it's still aesthetically pleasing, but
truly.
yeah,
It's a
man,
good swing.
it truly is. Truly is. Stood up to the pressure. Able to hit that clutch putt on 18, and what I like to see from him is the enjoyment and the smile on his face and those kind of subtle expressions. We first got a full taste of that in last year's U.S. Open when he hit that majestic wood into that green on that par five.
Hmm.
And I love to see him and his caddy interact. It seems like they're having a really good time out there, enjoying the moment, not getting too amped up, not letting the pressure take over. And, seeing him walk off of 18 after that putt, you could tell he was relieved about it, but also just happy, right? The work he's put
Yeah,
in to get himself in that position.
facts.
I'm going to take a quick intermission to show a clip I saw from his girlfriend. And it's weird the way she describes him kind of as a boyfriend girlfriend dynamic, but it speaks to some of that kind of professionalism and hard work that's going on in the background. So let me pull this bad boy up. This man's thirsty.
I gotta
Okay,
stay
share this
hydrated now.
clip. She says, I'm so impressed with who he is on and off the golf course.
I think it's just a mixture of proud, emotional, because he worked so hard, and just to see it all pay off, especially being here last time and how sick he was, we kind of called it the redemption tour in a way. So impressed with who he is on and off the golf course. Like honestly, he's just the best human, and he's just so professional, acts like a champ, is a champ, and yeah, he's just the best.
So I thought that was a really cool moment to get her comments. You often don't get to see the significant others, I guess, comments featured. So I just thought
Yeah,
that was an interesting dynamic. Knowing that he is a hard worker. I think everybody has attested to that. Kind of the time that he puts in, and you can tell in the results. And I think, I mean, for him to get his second win this early in his career, that there's nothing but good stuff coming his way. There
agreed.
doesn't seem like a lot that can take him off track. He seems like a very simple guy. I mean, I'm sure we all know that he had opportunity to probably go take a lot of money to go over and play on Live Golf, and kind of said it wasn't for him. He flat out said there were some aspects that just did not work for him. So I think pretty humble guy with reasonable expectations out of life, and I think he's gonna get everything that he desires. I just can't, I really can't wait for him to see him win a major, and put himself in contention deep on the Sunday in a major. So I think that's coming sooner rather than later.
Amen.
Let's see what else we have from Matt McNeely. Man, homeboy got on the tear. He's another young up and comer. That we're starting to see some of that younger just talent come up. So an impressive Sunday. That's hard to beat. I mean, he had one bogey on the back that kept him out of going into a playoff. You never know how it's going to end up. If you
Yeah,
take that clubhouse lead, versus Aberg having a chance to win it on 18 on a gettable par five, which he played smartly. So shout out to him for giving it a run, Maverick McNeely, on Sunday. Let's
yeah.
move it. Unless you got anything else to say, anything else to
I mean,
add.
I think, yeah, just one little thing. I mean, he's another example of why you do the work to make sure your swing is repeatable because you saw it break down just a little bit. At least off the tee, you saw him back to back 16, 17, hit it out right. Now, don't get me wrong, he scrambled and made a crazy par on 16, got it over the bunker,
Mm-hmm.
hit a wedge in or whatnot, and, was able to save his par. But, you go right back to back. You don't even give your chance. I'm sorry, 17 and 18 because on 18 you don't even give your chance to go for the green because the rough is grown out. You got to lay up, got to play a wedge and stuff like that. When Ludvig Aberg is going into the green with the 7 wood, and he's got 2 putts, and he's putting for eagle and then birdie. So you only give yourself one opportunity to score, and then otherwise you're fighting for par. So just things like that. I think, but Maverick McNeely won last year in the RSM, so another young guy headed the right way as well. So, I'm not harping on anything Maverick McNeely did because he still shot 64. So because the dude was
Right.
golfing his ball. Yeah, but
So
just the
solo
pressure got
second.
to him a little bit.
Pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah, and an elevated event as well. So kudos to him for taking home the big bucks when it mattered. Um, do want to put a shout out there to Tiger. Clearly still struggling with the passing of his mother. Showed up, um, with the commemorative pin, kind of honoring her, and her background being Thai and just kind of a symbol, um, representing her. Able to show up today, as the tournament host. Wasn't there the first few days of the tournament. So shout out to Tiger. As we talked about last week, tough losing your parent. He's now lost both of his, and so nothing like losing a mother. It's tough, and probably his guiding light in life, and kind of the softer side of Tiger. I know his dad
yeah,
formulated a lot of who he is as a golfer, but I think that softness came from his mother, and just kind of that caring that we saw from their relationship seemed like they were really tight, and
yeah,
unfortunately losing her, and I think he's almost at a month with that, and it's hard, right? Because you just lose a whole piece of you, who you are. So shout out to Tiger for at least showing up and kind of getting love from. Saw him hug JT, meet JT's little girl. Saw him
yeah,
hug Rory on the range as well. So getting love
yeah,
from all the guys that we know he's tight with. Let's move over to PGA Tour champions, and then we'll get into. Well, you know what? Yeah, PGA Tour champions. Really quick mention: Justin Leonard wins his first event on the PGA Tour champions. It's his first win since 2008 when he won the FedEx St. Jude. The boy,
Jeez
it's
Louise.
been a dry spell. It's been a dry spell. I mean, he got in the booth for a long period of time, and he was serviceable, not great, on the mic. I'm sure that's not done for him, but I guess the competitive juice is still flowing. Every time I see um, Justin Leonard, I think about Z, the boy who I play with. He said he came up around the time that same time as Justin Leonard. They're in the same kind of age group, and Z was a
Dang.
pretty high level player, but he said Justin Leonard was on a whole nother level. So interesting. Like I said, every time I see Justin Leonard, I think about Z. But kudos to him for getting off the snide of 13 years. No,
Yeah.
sorry, bad math. 18 years. 18 years.
17.
So anyway, 17. Bad math. Horrible math. Any comments from you on Justin Leonard and the old
No,
man tour?
it was in that weird window. I wasn't really ever catching any coverage of that, but
It was all.
I mean,
It was literally on at the same time as the PGA Tour. So sorry, it wasn't getting
yeah,
much run for me. I wasn't flipping
sorry.
over. Tory, it was Genesis was too good this week.
It was. I mean, Friday they were on
Um,
from like 10:30 to 12:30 or something like that. Some weird block. I don't know. I I saw a little bit of it.
I'll catch the
Darren Clark
I'll
was
catch
like,
the replay.
yeah, Darren Clark was going for the course record at one point, then like went double, then bogeyed, and then like limped in on a par five on the last hole and just barely made par. So that was pretty much the last that I kept up with the Chubb Classic this week. I'm sorry.
No worries. The old man tour is. I don't know, man. I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep that thing on life support.
It's hit or miss,
It's
man.
pretty
It's
rough
hit or
out there.
miss. They need to find a designated
You,
time
you
window too.
True, true. I think if once Tiger makes that transition, that'll kind of pump some new blood into it. But until then,
Yeah.
not exactly the greatest product to watch. Let's keep it rolling. So the Live boys were over in Australia. They played back to back weeks. They played in their Adelaide event, which honestly Australia loves some golf, so they usually pack that thing out. I would say it was probably a little bit down from previous years. They did change courses. They weren't on the same course they played the 2 years previous. They've also announced this week that they were going to keep that Adelaide partnership up until 2031. So, I mean, it's a I saw some articles saying that, oh, this says that Lives in it for the long run. Of course, you want to give the impression of long term partnership, like this thing is going to go on forever. But I
Yeah.
think Lives days are definitely numbered at this stage. There's an interesting video that I caught from My Golf Spy. They don't do a lot of long form stuff. We might have to I might chop that up and feature that next week. But they were talking a little bit about kind of where Liv is, and I really respect their opinion on a lot of things. So more on that to come. Either way, Joaquin Neiman wins another Live event. Seems to be the only, he's prolific on Live events. That doesn't necessarily hold up when he gets on the major stage. We'll see if
Yeah.
that, we're talking big stuff with him going into the Masters last year, didn't quite pan out. Again, same hype. He comes out there, ready to go. Um, they were granted some exemptions into majors this week. So
Hmm.
I didn't really read a lot of the articles, but they now have pathways. So a lot of the complaining that we were seeing from them in previous years should be alleviated. Again, these to me just spell signs that some form of a merger is coming soon. We're going to see something. There's
Yeah.
just been too many indications that something's coming along at some point. I do want to mention one more thing before I let you jump in here. The team championship continues to be pretty worthless. I made a note because it was such a wide gap, and the way that it's set up just for those that don't necessarily watch live all the time. The top three players from each team count, their scores count. In this case, Team Torque, or Torque for us stateside, we're going up against the Fireballs. The winner, Joaquin Neiman, and his teammate were tied, first and tied for second. A Fireball player was tied for second and fourth. And Fireballs ended up winning by 8 strokes. And this comes down to the next best player for the Fireballs was Sergio Garcia. He was
Mm.
4 under. And then for Team Torque, their next best player was at +4. And then they went +4 and then +6. So it created an 8 stroke difference and gave them the win by like 6 or 7 strokes in the team championship.
Yep.
Again, it just seems it's like if you have the top two players on the leaderboard and still can't win this team championship, it seems like a weird team format. I don't love it. It's hard to follow in terms of, does it really matter to the tournament? No, but they really do put a lot of emphasis on it in the broadcast and all the featured tweets that they put up on the screen. It's a bad team product, particularly when we're seeing good team golf with TGL. That's what
Yeah.
good team golf looks like to me. If you're gonna do team golf, not this version on Live. I don't know if you got to catch any of it because it was actually in a pretty decent window with them playing in Australia, but I caught final round and a little bit of the second round.
I caught a little bit on YouTube, just really like highlights and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I was just going down the list of the leaderboard and stuff like that. And I mean, honestly, I'm more just kind of confused at what happened with all the Aussies and why, like, the top Aussie is Mark Leishman and he's tied 21st. Like, I mean, like,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? I thought y'all would want to put on for your team, for the crib and everything like that. But that's really what stood out to me. But also, yeah, I mean, Sergio's team won by 6 over John Rahm's team. And then the next close, and then yeah, like you said, Joaquin Neiman, they were 13. And you got a counting score that's +4. Like this is just like college team golf. This is just like a couple of
So
good players,
it's
and then
so
everybody else
bad,
is
bro.
cheeks. Yeah, bro. So I don't know. They need to get their team concept more restructured for the time that they have left. Apparently, Tiger was saying it that the merger with Orange Man getting involved could possibly be sometime this year, if not next. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see
But
who's lying and who's not.
eh, I don't know what I hate giving credit to somebody who's not really doing anything for the situation. Let's keep it 100%.
That's what
Um,
I'm saying. I don't know what that
what
means.
is he?
I
What
don't.
is he? What is he contributing? And apparently, Tiger showed up today with the granddaughter of Trump, which I was like, okay, why is this being plastered everywhere? That Tiger's being escorted with a 17-year-old. I get it. I think she's a golfer. Um, but
Yeah, she's
still,
committed to
it's kind of
Miami
weird.
though.
I'm like,
It's
okay, man, I don't get it. Yeah. So I'm trying to like yeah, I'm whatever, keep it rolling.
maybe it's
So
part of
something's
TGR or
gonna happen.
whatever, his little foundation or whatever. I don't know.
Who knows? But anyhow, but
Yeah.
yeah, the Aussie's definitely disappointing. Cam Smith, bro, like for a young man to have completely disappeared off the golf map, I'm thinking about all the careers that are going over to live to die. Um, I mean, you get the typical names that are still decently performing. Shout out to Rom. He's consistently at least in the top 10 of these live events. He's not completely laying down. He looked
Yeah.
in shape a couple of weeks ago when he was playing on the DP World Tour. Um, McKibben looked good, but I'm thinking about people who have pretty much gone to the pasture. Um, HV3, who is that, man? Dude doesn't even you just don't even doesn't even register anymore.
Yep.
Matt Wolf doesn't register anymore. It's very
DFL
it's
dead
bad,
freaking
bro.
last for
Um,
this week.
Anthony Kim shooting +10. Um,
Yeah, bro.
Martin Keimer, Kokrak, Mito Pereira. Mito Pereira is one that needs to be studied. Man goes from almost winning the PGA championship, completely changing his golf trajectory, throwing it in
Yeah.
the creek to going to live and then disappearing. I mean, he's going to be the next Eugenio Shikara, trying to make his way back over here in a couple of years, and salvage what's left of his career. But it's very sad what's happening to these guys, to not even be able to commit, make an impact on a field of 54 guys with a bunch of also rans. But to me, that's just the sad part of it. They don't play again for another 3 weeks, I believe it is. So maybe they tee it. We see a couple of them tee it up on the DP World Tour in between, but rough situation. Let me pull up my slideshow. I'm gonna skip to my last one. Uh, Liv made a change with Greg Norman. He quietly kind of stepped aside, was let go. Apparently, is still on the board of directors for Liv, but we have a new CEO, and the
Yep.
ridiculousness has not changed.
Right.
So here we have Scott O'Neill saying you don't have to look too far past our leaderboard to know that outside of the majors, if you want to see the best players in the world, there's only one place to do it. That's Ed Live. Um, Again, I don't know what he's referring to in terms of their leaderboard and how they perform in majors. I think we did it a couple of majors last year where we showed the pictures of the guys from Live that were in the majors and then their finishing performance.
Yeah.
Again, kudos. I'm not poo pooing Bryson DeChambeau. He went and earned his U.S. Open, but their overall performance in majors not great. It
Yeah.
just really wasn't great, and we'll make the same comparisons again. If your CEO is going to continue to make claims like that and still talk the same kind of just braggadocious things that Greg Norman did without any foundation, we're going to call it to the carpet where we can. And this is
Yeah.
another just ridiculous statement from their CEO.
Yep. No, truly, completely. I mean, I just I'm just trying to understand why he would even say that. Like, bro, you're trying to. I would think after what y'all went through with Greg Norman, you would come in with a little bit more humility, not as much like a chin grabbing as you deal as he's doing in the current moment. Um, especially the way that especially the way that they've performed as of late. End of the season, that whole kerfuffle, just trying to find like I'm not saying the PGA is the best product as of right now, but at least they have venues set up, especially for like championships, year end championships, and things of that nature. You would just think if you're a little bit more organized and a little bit more ahead of the curve and trying to produce a good product, you would have all of that stuff nailed down at least at the beginning of the season, not 2 and 3 months where they're still scrambling to get
As the
extensions,
season
dwindles
as the
down.
season goes along, they were
Right.
adding
So,
courses last year throughout the season.
yeah, so we'll see how that goes. March 7th through the 9th in Hong Kong is their next event. Let's see where the DP World Tour is. Let's see if it's close by that. They're going to have some guys in it. I think
I
that
think we said that there was going to be
they're in Africa.
there's like a weird one where they're playing in the same place, but later on in the DP World season, there's one where Live plays one week and then DP World Tour plays the next week in that location.
Singapore, my fault. Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked about that because they have 3 in Africa. They're going to Kenya, then they're doing 2 in South Africa, and then they go to Singapore. So Singapore is March 20th through the 23rd. Live is in Singapore March 14th through the 16th. So that might be the next time that we see some DP World Tour golf from the livers. Hopefully they can make another stance, because after that, we're hiding heavy into the majors 1 month after the next. I mean, I
Yeah.
was looking at the PGA schedule. I mean, besides the Mexico Open at Vedanta, then they go to Florida. So they're in their major swing of going to the Floridas,
Yeah.
and I mean going to the Florida swing before they get into the Players, and then shoot, it's probably 2 events, and then it's the Masters. So we are almost to the getting into the meat of what we're getting ready to see.
Yeah. I mean, heck, it feels like we just opened up the season, a blink
Right.
of an eye ago.
Golly, it's
You
going
know,
fast.
we're
I
gonna have
can't believe it.
it. It really is, and we're gonna have a. I mean, the Mexico Open at Vedanta has because they played it behind some elevated events. It's had a little bit of a letdown in terms of big name players going out there. I think Brandon Wu always competes pretty pretty high on the leaderboard out there. We saw
Yeah.
Jake Knapp get his first championship last year. So it's a place for people to make a name for themselves in Mexico. So we'll see if that happens and repeats again. Um, Tony Finau usually plays out there. I'm sorry, like Mexican golf on that in that Puerto Vallarta area, really good golf, high quality stuff.
Yeah.
Have to
I'm looking through the player list
luckily,
now. We're
do they
gonna
have
get. I
any bigger
mean,
names?
we get Akshay Bhatia. We get him.
Okay,
Let's see, we get Joel Damon will be there. We should get Jake now. Isn't he a past winner there?
I mean, he just last year he won it, so
Ryan
he
Fox.
he should
Ryan
show
Fox will
up.
be there.
Oh,
Ryan Fox
Ryan
got.
Fox is gonna play some golf.
Hey, he gonna find a place to play. He gonna be on tour somewhere. Him and the family. Emilio Grillo's gonna be
No.
there. Harry Hall. Let's see. Charlie Hoffman, bad talk himself, is gonna be there. Um, Michael Kim,
We get Tom
Jake
Kim.
Knapp. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no, no Tom Kim. Michael Kim.
no Tom Kim. Okay.
No. I mean, a couple of people that you would want to see: Rasmus Højgaard, Nikolai Højgaard. Both of the brothers are gonna be there. Um,
Yeah, well, Rasmus needs to make a comeback. He had a rough week in
yeah,
Torrey, finished
yeah.
dead last this week, so he needs to have a bit of a bounce back. DP World Tour was off this week, so they come back for the magical Kenya Open. Yeah, I'm
Wow.
excited. I mean, I think we're gonna have some LPGA come back as well. The LET ladies, I caught a little bit of theirs on the first couple of days as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was up at some weird time, so they played at the same course that the Live boys played at night the week
Yeah, they play during
before.
the day.
So I
Mm-hmm.
found that interesting. Again, still cool. Even in the middle of the day, they were wearing, you know, long sleeves and pants. And I
Yep.
think Gino Thittekul took that championship as well. Unfortunately, we just don't get a lot of LET coverage. The purses are not that big, but looks like the ladies just wanted to get some swings in. There were actually quite a few decent names playing in that LET, but again, the time of day that they were playing was not exactly popular for
Yeah, it
most people to
was
stay up. And they,
3:30 to 7:30, 8:30 our time, I want to say.
yeah, and you're not gonna get the replay value on Golf Channel. So unfortunately, if you weren't able to catch it live, you didn't get to watch it. So
Yeah.
um, what Jason Day. We're running through them pretty quick this week. Let me move to my slide.
Real,
So
real,
um,
um,
go
real
ahead.
quick about the LET. A lady Andrea Fuller, I want to say is her name. She finished solo third or something like that. Uh, Big story for her. She made more in that event in one tournament than she did all last season. So at least this event had some money in it. I think she made 75 or 76K or something like that. More than she made
Okay.
all last season.
Well,
So
you know what? You're actually right. So I don't know what this other. I'm looking at their website now. The prize fund for that event was 4.5 million. So that's
mhm.
actually pretty good. So when you
Yeah,
look at
it fetched Charlie Hull.
it looks it's actually like it was a combined event. So they had a team version of it, and then they had a individual prize that they were
Yeah.
running concurrently. The team fund was 500K, and then there was 4.5 in the individual. So yeah, that's a pretty good purse for them. I actually think that's going to be the biggest. There's one other one, the Evian, which is a major,
Hmm.
is 8 million. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest prizes on the LET all year. So that's why they had all the folks over there. So good for her. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
an awesome story to make some life changing money by winning third. Um,
Absolutely.
so good deal. Jason Day. We talked a little bit about his clothes last year. He made a big splash with his move over to Malbon. We saw
Yep.
some interesting fits. I think he was doing a lot more experimental stuff last year. I think the pants, he was kind of wilding with some of the pants cuts last year, while still very much on the baggier side of things. I think we're seeing some better tailoring
Yeah.
in the fits this year. So I need somebody to like start a Twitter page that actually gets a chance to actually go to the events and track his clothing a little bit better. So I took what I was able to grab through the first handful of weeks this year. We're gonna start off with some more tame stuff that he's been out here with, and we progressively get a little more wild. So I mean, some really basic stuff. The shoes, rocking these new painter shoes.
Hmm.
Today I'll pull up the web page that they have. But he was wearing some all black joints that I don't love black shoes, but the way he had them fit today, um, pretty A1. So there's some
Okay.
more basic fits. Again, you can kind of see from the pants, um, baggier, but the where the ankle openings are, they
They're
were
kind of
really
tapered.
wild last year.
Yeah, they
A
were.
little more tapered this year. Hanging properly over the shoe. I'd say this is a proper fit, but still up in the thighs and calf area. A little more loose than we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
Um, you know, rather than other players. And what's interesting is I remember when I first saw Jason Day years ago at the Byron Nelson when they were still holding it at the TPC Las Colinas. So several sites ago. And he was just this buff dude, young dude, really fit. The dad bod has definitely come into play. No longer is he in the gym hitting it hard like that. Jason Day's body has completely transformed to what he was from what he was earlier in his career.
Yeah. He is. He is about making sure his golf game is good. He no longer needs to produce strength anymore. So he is relishing
Yeah,
in that and letting the tummy go a little bit. Pause.
yeah. Um, so we got a couple of Hawaii fits, and then from the Pebble Beach. So I don't hate this green fit.
Yep, me
Rocking a
neither.
little bit. I didn't get a good picture. He's got like the mock collar, so there were a couple of buttons, but not a full collar. Interesting mix. It's not the bladed look,
Okay.
um, but keeping it professional enough. I do like the little touches on the pants with the Malbon, wearing the wetsuit stuff, and I do like the painter shoes. I do.
Yeah.
We need some different looks in golf shoes, and I think this definitely fits the bill. I'll definitely again. I'll pull up the black ones here at the end. Um, I didn't again just because I put myself at a disadvantage because I don't listen to the telecast to a certain degree, but I know there was a big uproar around his sweatsuit. His Twitter post said that his luggage was lost. I don't know how much credence that is to it, or if he was just taking a chance with the clothes. Because I mean, usually you can get some backup stuff sent to you. But what do you
Right.
think?
I mean, I'm not judgy. I mean, me personally, I would never wear a sweatsuit just because I don't know, the feel would be kind of weird to me as far as my like swing would go. I don't know like how that would necessarily transpire with that, but I, I'm not like
You're
offended.
saying on the
I'm not
sweat on the top or the bottom?
both. Well, the bottom
I don't know.
it would just feel awkward. I don't know. I don't wear
I
loose
I
stuff
don't
like
like
that anymore.
playing dead grass usually sticks to sweats and stuff, so that's why I don't like it for that purpose. But I'll say
Yeah.
this: I've been playing the last handful of times that I've been playing because we're still dealing with cool temps. Is I've played in sweatshirts and a couple of hoodies, and
Mm-hmm.
I actually like it better than your traditional things that are typically fit for golf. Just because it's a little more free flowing, I don't feel as restricted. I absolutely hate playing in long sleeves. So anything that I feel like keeps my arms from flowing the way that they naturally would, I
Mm-hmm.
dislike it pretty heavily. So
Yeah.
I actually have found I like playing in a nice little in a similar fitting sweatshirt like from Hanes or Nike have actually been pretty decent. So I co-sign.
Yeah. I mean, I got all of the golf hoodies, so I'm for sure um fashion forward as far as it goes with golf hoodies. Like I got the Swannies, the FootJoy. I mean, I pretty much have all of them. So they're definitely comfortable. They're
Which
definitely very
which
easy to
people
swing in. Hmm?
yeah, which people were even trying to poo poo on people wearing hoodies a couple of years ago. So
Right. When Justin Thomas
golf
first
fashion
kind of
is changing.
revolutionized that, yeah, it's been changed. I mean, nobody wants to rock the quarter zip anymore. You want to you want to be fashion forward, but actually also functional. Golf hoodies allow me to
Yeah.
still have my front pockets for trinkets, scorecards, things of that nature. You know, I don't quarter zips don't allow me to do that. They look fancy. They fit the bill of a golfer. But as far as, functionality, it's restrictive, like you said. And then I don't have any room to put things. I'm just relying back on my pockets and my pants. And I don't always like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then last slide here. So this one on the left
Okay.
hand side is from this weekend. Actually, probably today's fit.
Yeah. His
And then
khakis are
this
still cheeks, man.
puffer short sleeve.
Terrible.
Yeah, him going with this bone colored look. I don't know what he's got an obsession with that. That's in a lot of his looks that he's been rolling out the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I will say I respect the sweater game. The sweater game has actually been
Thank
on
you.
point. Like I said, I know he got into a little bit of trouble with the big Malbon logo at the Masters last year, but something like this, with some design to it, I respect it. I like it. It's different. It's outside
Yeah.
of the box, but it's still traditional enough. I mean, it reminds me of Arnold Palmer back in the day. So
Yeah.
I dig it. I like the
I like
sweater.
top left. I like the sweater on the left. The puffy short sleeve thing on the right is just an abomination. The khaki is terrible. And I think speaking of Arnold Palmer, I think Jason Day needs to, if he really wants to be that guy, he needs to dig into his browns, his darker tans. I think that would look better, especially as a darker hued player. He is not gonna always vibe with khaki. That's not gonna be the color that looks best on him. Now,
Yeah.
a darker tan, like closer to an orange or a brown or something like that, or a wood color, I think that would ring off a little bit better, especially with the bottoms. And then he could just be crazy with the top like he was doing. Just me,
Yeah.
but
You know who really does well with the color combos and still keep and dressy as well as Keith Mitchell. Keith Mitchell has
agreed.
really found his kind of not niche, but his kind of
His flavor.
his vibe with. Yeah, he does a lot of the knitted colors, darker pants. Um, he should take some cues. Jason Day should take some cues from Keith Mitchell, as it relates to trouser colors. Let me pull up this painter shoe as well. Again, I think he rocked a little bit more customized version of it,
Hmm.
because I didn't catch the gold accents that these have on them. Where did I put that?
I think one thing that the PGA could do, they're trying to reach into personalities and things like that. I'm not saying that you bring somebody on specifically for tour outfits and tour fashion and stuff like that. But you remember back when Nike was really in its heyday, we get all four outfits and all four color schemes on IG. They'd
Oh,
show us,
their
yeah,
weekly, yeah,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not saying we need that, but if you see a hot fit when somebody's on the range, you don't even necessarily need to ask them like, "Hey, what were you thinking on this? What did you have going?" But like, ask for a picture, ask for like some brands and stuff like that. We should be keeping up
yeah,
more with clothing brands as far as that goes because those are the things that we're going to reach for anyways as niche players do, niche golfers do. Okay, that looked good on TV. Let me see if it's in my price range. Let me see if it's something that's reasonable for me. Or if it's not, let me see what I can find that's similar. Just if we talking growing the game, fashion is a way to grow the
yeah,
game.
like yeah, the lookbook because there's certain things, and that's the thing that I these are those black shoes again.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of
I get
black
what you're
shoes
saying.
typically, but some that he did with the look today, it was so that other picture must have been from yesterday because he was
Yeah,
wearing all black today with these.
yeah.
Um, Again, the cut of the pants made complemented these very well. Not usually my bag, but again, he's got the different colorways. I do like these white ones. These are the
Yeah, the
ones
white
that he
ones look
typically
good.
wears. I mean, they
So
really do
that's
look good. And for
yes,
220, it's tempting.
yeah. I would say compared to the black ones, if they could do if they could do the black ones with like the gold trim, like this black bar is around like the sole, and then maybe add in a
Yeah,
few more gold accents along like the shoelace rings and the tongue of
just to
the
break it
shoe,
up.
just to break it up. You don't a flat black shoe is disgusting. That is nasty work. And it's
It looks
never
like a
it's
restaurant. No offense to restaurant workers, but it looks like a
a non-slip
security
shoe.
guard restaurant. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
no doubt.
just think about all the black basketball shoes we've ever seen. Were they ever appealing?
That's what
No,
I
not
was
unless they
thinking.
had some color.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
That's a referee shoe. That's what that looks like.
Thank
So,
you. Yeah, it's
but I
disgusting.
agree. The fashion side. So the just and we'll wrap it up here. I know we're both kind of yawning a little bit since we're on a little bit later.
Yeah.
Um, One of the points that the My Golf Spy guys brought up when they were kind of comparing where both the PGA Tour and Live Golf are not what they were. PGA Tour is not what it was 4 years ago. It's been
Yeah.
diminished clearly. It's taken a lot of hits. Live Golf just doesn't have enough, as the kids say these days, enough motion to
Right.
get the crowds that they want, to get the eyes. You made the joke that, we got the ratings back from last week and the average viewership was 19,000. That is horrible. Especially when
Abysmal
you're
for
talking
live
about
golf. True live golf.
yes. And And for YouTube channels out here to be getting views that crush that, that makes no sense at all. So
Yeah.
they were talking, and we've discussed this on a level before. So it's good to hear some of our thoughts being validated. Um, is that there's two sides of golf, right? There is the professional game that we watch, we spectate. You when you get a chance to go to a live tournament, you go. Um, but there's a whole other side where the industry of people playing golf is just as lucrative, if not more, because we participate in the game. And even
Yep.
though it is a niche sport, we're all buying clubs, we're all buying balls, we're buying the apparel. There's a lot of money that we put into the kind of ecosystem of golf that, let's say, if like we love watching basketball, right? But basketball on the consumer side is a cheap sport. You buy a
Yeah.
ball, you make that one time purchase of a really good high quality indoor ball. You play with it. You have it for a long period of time. You may buy some basketball shorts, some hoop shoes, but you're not going through it as much as you would golf equipment. And so they were saying,
Facts.
like my weekend game or my, game during the week with my friends is just as vital to me enjoying the game of golf as watching it on TV or going and seeing it in person. If I never watched TV golf again, I'd be fine as long as I could still play the game.
Yeah.
So they exist together, but they don't necessarily aren't codependent on one another. You can have one or the
Agreed.
other or both.
Agreed. You know what? I was just thinking about it. I'll keep it cute. I'll keep it cute. But like, I
No,
feel
you're good.
like, unfortunately for Liv, they're in the middle of actual professional golf, or what people perceive as professional golf, and then amateur golf. Because when we look at the PGA Tour, the product is polished. We've seen it for multiple decades. We know what we're gonna get. We're gonna get the top of the line golf. When we look at good, we know we're going to get some good golf. We know we're going to get some squirrely shots. We know that is something that is relatable to us. So the PGA Tour is
Yeah.
the top of the top in the amateur game, the Grant Horvats and stuff like that. They do things that are more perceivable for or relatable to us. So they're going to get a lot of eyes because we can relate to those more. And then we want to see the PGA because it's something that we strive to be. Oh, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to have those clubs, et cetera, et cetera. The live guys are in the middle. They clearly have taken a step back. The product that they present has taken a step back. The golf isn't as premier, but yet you're looking at pros shoot the same shitty scores that we shoot. So it's like, why do I even want to watch pros shoot 80s when I can watch
Right.
Garrett and freaking Sean at good do that? Or I can watch Scotty and Rory shoot a
That's
64.
a good
I
point.
don't know what, you know what I'm
That's a
saying?
good point.
So
But it's
unfortunately
weird
for
because
them, they're in the middle.
we're in this world where everybody like not everybody. I hate that term. Where there's a segment of the population that is like completely revolting against polished things, right? They
Right.
want this irreverent, completely just ruleless, like no borders, just do what you want to do type of living, right? So if you want to yell, get drunk, do crazy stuff at a golf tournament, that's what they want to do. That's what they're seeking out. Versus if you go to a PGA Tour event, it's more buttoned up. It's a
Yeah.
tighter
True.
environment, right? I mean, it it's very interesting, right? These two things are trying to coexist, but I truly don't believe that there's enough people to serve that niche of party boy golf, right? Because you can go do
Yeah.
that on the weekend.
Yeah.
You can go do that
Mm-hmm.
with your friends versus you just paying to go sit in the stand somewhere and do it with other randos. It's just not the same. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing, but again, you have to go with: is there enough people in your target audience to keep your product alive? There's still more than enough people to keep the PGA Tour ecosystem alive, because we do want to see the best of the best do their
Yep.
thing, right? Most golfers, we keep a handicap for a reason. Um, and so it's because you want to get better. You want to track your game, with the exception of that piece of shit, um, Pat Mahomes. That dude. Um, anyway,
Mm.
don't make me rant on Pat Mahomes. So yeah. Anyway, we all want to get better. We all want to see our games improve, and we see things. Fortunately, on the PJ Tour, where you're like, oh, I can implement that. You look at a
Yeah.
Ludvig Aberg swing the club, and you're like, I can actually get my body in those positions. He's not so much of a super athletic player where you're like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Rory, on the other hand, you're like, I can't get in those positions that to be
Mm-mm.
5'10" and hit the ball that far. But I can duplicate what Ludvig Aberg does in terms of getting to the positions that he does on the swing. So, um, again, there's room for everything, but I don't know if there's enough for Live to survive, um, and make money off their product. Yeah, they'll be around as long as the Saudis want to put money in it, but that doesn't mean that they actually contribute to the Saudi PIF where they are getting their money from. So,
Right. Yeah.
anyway, my guy, we're both gonna get some sleep.
Yeah.
Call it a night. No, you probably won't be asleep. You'll get your second wind and send TikToks at 1:30 to 2:30 in the morning.
It won't be that late today. I gotta
All right.
drive,
Yeah.
and
All right,
I
y'all.
gotta match with
Bearded
you
Bros Golf
tomorrow, so I
Show.
gotta have some energy.
That's right. We'll catch y'all again next week. I am Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
Peace out, y'all.